But again, it's just recording me. It's not recording you. So do not fret in the slightest. What can I tell you? I'm grateful to be in it with you. And I feel curious today. Today is one of those days that I'm not really sure what's coming. And that can be really sweet. Like when we don't come with a particular expectation or commitment to have anything in particular happen, but we just show up, right? This is like what it means to be in relationship with the self and also others, is that we never really truly know. We can have all kinds of projections about what we hope might happen, right? And that can be beautiful, and it can also create a lot of suffering, right? Because when the reality doesn't measure up to the expectation, it sucks. And then we have to adjust, and that's the fucking worst, right? And also sometimes we can't help but have hopes and imaginations of how something will go, whether it's as small or as big as a yoga practice, right? Or as small or as big as a relationship with another human being, most importantly with ourselves. And all we can really do is show up feeling curious, right? So just check it out. Like, what does expectation feel like in your body? Take a moment to just close your eyes and imagine coming to yoga. I mean, we've all definitely done this at one point or another. I know I have. And being like, this is exactly what I need to happen. And just notice how that sits in your body. How does that occupy the space within? And then just exhale that out, wiggle that out for a moment. And invite yourself to be with what it's like to show up with curiosity. What is the texture of curiosity in your breath, in your body, in your fingertips? For me, it's so subtle, the difference, but it feels like a buzz. It feels like a little vibration that moves through my fingertips that's having me both reach out and reach in. It's like something to be explored, something to sort of pull back the curtains and see what's behind. So just get into the breath and the feeling of what that's like for just a moment. And I'm going to read to you from the Radiance Sutras as you just feel into this curiosity. And the curiosity might take you into some side bends or some gentle movements here as you're listening. Secrets are hidden in darkness and difficult nights. You awaken into a pang of aloneness, a howl of separation. This is the call of the Dark One. This is another name for Krishna. The roar of life seeking its source. The union you long for is within reach. Throw off all hesitation, become one with the fear. Plunge into the uncanny blackness, eyes wide open, as if there were no other choice. Vibrating with fierce tenderness, breathe intimately with the Lord of infinite space. Close your eyes and imagine an expanse of darkness surrounds you. No objects, no light, nothing but blackness spreading to infinity. Do not shrink in terror. Give yourself to the darkness with no hope of light. Surrender completely. Contemplating this feeling, merge with the mystery of night. Shining one whose body flows with power when you are astonished, startled, afraid, or curious, and gasp a shocked inhalation right there, right there. Sense the vibration of that gasp on your palate. The shimmer of that sound in the mouth evokes a flood of knowing, a gush, of the divine. So just take a moment as you breathe in. You might open your mouth a little bit and feel the air rush into the top of the palate and the back of the throat. The air of potential. We don't know what will come on the exhale, but you're breathing in the raw substance that will be made into something else entirely on the exhale. And what a gift it is to not know, because it allows for infinite space, which is no different than infinite darkness, just with a different lens of seeing. And take a moment to reach your arms out and up, stretch tall through your side body. Just breathe into some expanse above you and then bring hands in towards the heart. This gesture reminds us that what we seek is seeking us, right? The thing that we reach towards is what is trying to find us in the infinite space around. And maybe you like to rest here for a moment and contemplate that. Maybe there's a sound that feels right in your body to call yourself into presence. It's nice to not have to own by myself. Thanks for being here, friends. And when you're ready, we're going to make our way to downward facing dog. Okay. So take your time. If you need other wiggles on the way to down dog, by all means. This is forever and always your practice, your creativity, your expansiveness. So it would be shocking if yours looked exactly the same as the rest of everyone else's. And eventually when you make it back to downward facing dog, you can pedal it out through the feet. Maybe roll all the way over the tops of the toes on one foot and stretch back through the heel on the other foot and then switch. Good, and take your feet wide on the mat towards the edges. Press strong into your hands. Shift your weight all the way over to the right. Press into your right glute and your right hip. And then back through center all the way over to the left. Back to center. Walk your feet in, hips width distance. Stretch your right leg up and back into the sky. Big breath in. Bend your knees, stack your hips. Extend down through your index fingers. Right leg extends up and back. Big inhale. Exhale, step your right foot forward onto your cat between your hands. Little cat-cow here. Inhale, arch your back. Let your hips fall slightly. Exhale, round, lift up and out of the lunge just a bit. Chin towards the chest. Inhale, arch, lengthen. Reach back through the heel. Exhale, round. One more time. Inhale, arch, open. Exhale, all the way back to a long pyramid. Stretch the front leg. You might curl your right toes back towards you. Let your shoulder blades gather in around the back of your heart so you've got some space along the length of your neck. Good. Slowly rebend your front knee. Bump your left hand out to the left. Side plank. You can stiff your right foot halfway down the mat. Toes turn out to the sides or all the way back. Spread your left fingertips open and then reach your heart up towards the sky a little bit. Puff up through the right side body. We're going to meet in high plank. So when you're ready, right hand down, step your right foot back. If you haven't already, inhale here, lengthen. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin lower down to the earth. Inhale, cobra pose. Stretch back through the tops of your toes. Exhale, lower. Twice more like that. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. One more time, cobra pose. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down, child's pose, seat to heels, stretch it back. Inhale up to tabletop whenever you're ready. Take your time. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Big breath in. And a full breath out. Stretch your left leg up and back into the sky. Bend your knees, stack your hips. Stop, soft, steady breaths. Just curious about what you're finding. No demand of the body. Left leg up and back, inhale. Exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Pull your outer left hip back. Inhale, open up through your chest. Exhale, round your back a little bit, curl in. Inhale, arch your back. Shoulders roll back. Exhale to round a little bit. One more time. Inhale, arch, sink deep into the lunge. Exhale all the way back to pyramid pose. You could flex your left toes. You could press down through your fingertips, down and forward here. Slowly rebend your front knee. Bump your right hand out to the right a little bit. Roll to the outer blade of your right foot. Your left foot can step halfway down or all the way back. Any expression of side plank. Take your time, high plank whenever you're ready. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin lower down to the earth. Cobra pose, inhale. Exhale, back down to the earth. Hands by your sides or interlace at the low back for locust. Long through the back of the neck. Wiggle your tush a little side to side. It doesn't have to be tight to be on line and present here. Yeah. Stretch back through your hip flexors. Lift your toes. Lift your shoulders. Maybe reach your hands back. Oh my God. Theo's like, did you guys remember me? Oh, buddy. Slow, deep breaths. You can play around with sort of rolling one shoulder back, rolling the other shoulder back, stretching back through the toes. There's room for creativity inside of every one of these shapes. Good. Take a deep inhale. Exhale to lower right ear to the mat. Let your hips hug the earth here. Feel your lower back soften and widen. Feel this deep relationship between your heart and the earth. You can stay right there, or if you'd like, lifting back up to locust pose when you're ready. Come back through center. Maybe a different arm variation, arms past the ears, or cactus your elbows. Inhaling to left. Spread your collarbones open. Make some space at the front of your heart. Take a big inhale. Exhale to melt to the earth, left ear towards the floor. Let your tush relax. We're going to press up the high plank when you're ready. Walk your hands up by your sides. Tuck your toes. Lift your thighs. Find your low belly. And then big inhale to lengthen. On your exhale, press the earth away. Lift. Inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg up and back into the sky. Big breath in. Bend your knees, snap your hips. Exhale. Inhale, stretch your right leg up and back. Internally rotate. Exhale, knee to nose. Right foot forward. Side angle pose. Back heel down. You can bring your right hand inside your right foot or right elbow to right knee. And left arm past your left ear. Yeah. Feel the outer blade of your left foot melt towards the earth here. Yeah, send your right bum cheek back towards that left heel. Lift up for standing, straighten the right leg, prepping for triangle pose. And when you're ready, reach. Right hand comes down, again to the earth, to your shin, to the block, and left arm up. Big breath in here. Bend your right knee, half moon. When you're ready, launch onto your right foot. Play around here. Let it be a little wobbly. You might reach out, bend and straighten your arms and legs just to explore your balance. Down into a crouch when you're ready. Hands together, knees together, hug it in. And then standing splits, hands come to the earth, left toes stretch up. Let your head be heavy here. Low lunge is the next shape. Step your left foot back. Drop your left knee to the earth. Sweep your arms up. If you like, you could take half camel. Left arm swings back to your left thigh or glute. Or I like to take a block or cereal box, whatever you've got, and put it underneath my left hand on the left side as the right arm lifts up and back. Only if it makes more space for you here. Good. On your inhale, rise back up to low lunge. Exhale, hands to the earth, straighten, bump your back foot in. We're setting up for revolved triangle. Again, you can have a block under your left hand, pull your outer right hip back, and then reach your right arm up towards the sky. It can feel nice to put a hand on your sacrum here and just feel into what's happening in the hips, not necessarily because they have to be even, but just to get a sense of where your body is in space. Good, full inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down to the earth to prepare. Lengthen out through your spine. We're stepping to warrior three. Take your time, bend your right knee. Your hands can lift up to your heart. Stretch. All the way up to standing. Hug your left knee in for tree pose. Left knee out to the left. If figure four feels better in your body today, perfect, right? Your arms could stretch up as your tailbone reaches down towards the earth, whether you're standing or sitting back. Chair pose when you're ready. Sink back so far back that you can lift your toes and spread them, open them up a little bit, and then soften them to the earth as you sit deeper. Inhale here. Exhale, sit a little deeper. One more time, deep breath in. All the way down to your tush. Drop your seat to the earth. Stretch your legs, stretch your arms. Inhale here. Lengthen out through your spine. Exhale, lower halfway down, or maybe even just an inch. Inhale, lift a little bit up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Take your time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Lift your heart all the way onto your back. Squeeze your knees in towards your chest. Happy baby pose with a big sigh out. You could stay right here for a while. Feel into this. If bridge pose feels good in your body here, you could plant your feet to the earth. Plant your hands by your sides. Spread your toes. And when you feel ready, start to lift up. If it feels good, I'll offer a variation with your fingertips pointing up towards the sky and you're pressing down into the backs of your elbows and triceps. Your hands are like little blades here, hugging in towards your side, or whatever variation feels good. Maybe there's a little space to rock your hips side to side or to tuck the tailbone slightly and arch slightly. To find neutral, we usually have to explore the two extremes on either side, right? And then find somewhere in the middle. Take as much time as you need. Eventually, your seat comes to the earth. Stretch your legs straight up towards the sky. Flex your toes back towards you. Squeeze your knees in. Hold the back of your thighs. Rock forward and back a couple times. The next time you rock, you're going to cross your right foot in front of your left and come forward to step onto your right foot. Standing splits, left toes go up. Yeah, good. Step your left foot all the way back for lizard pose. Walk your right foot out to the right. A pretty active lizard if that feels good. You can come inside the front foot. Keep your back knee lifted. Yeah, maybe coming down onto your forearms. And eventually we're going to twist, lifting the right arm up towards the sky, grounding into your left hand or your left forearm here. We're going to land back at plank, either forearm plank or full plank. So if you're on your hand, bring the other hand down. If you're on your forearm, other forearm down. And then step your right foot back. Some variation of plank. Good, and slow, deep breaths here. You can rock a little forward into the toes and stretch back towards the heels a few times. Eventually landing on your belly. So if you're in high plank, you can lower down through chaturanga. If you're in forearm plank, you're a little closer. Drop your knees. Come all the way down for Sphinx pose. And you can experiment here. Sphinx, if it feels good in your body, spreading your fingers. Feel your hands kind of like you're, this weekend I made a fire pit and it was like the earth here is very wet, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like you're reaching in with your nails into the clay. Like you can feel the texture of something real and true underneath your hands. And how does that change sort of the way that the nerve endings along the fingertips are relating to what's underneath them? Slow, deep breaths. Seal pose if it calls to you, straightening the arms, fingertips point out, or you could stay right here in Sphinx and play with some gentle head rolls. Not rolling back to protect the neck, so it'll just be to the side and to the front. Take all the time that you need, and you can come to rest on your belly when your body tells you it's time. Maybe rocking the hips a little side to side. Hands walk up by your sides, prepping for high plank. Tuck your toes, lift your thighs, take a big breath in, lengthen. On your exhale, extend your arms. Inhale to lengthen. Lift your hips downward facing. Just rock your head a little side to side. When you're ready, with an inhale, stretch your left leg up and back into the sky. Bend your knees, stack your hips. Exhale. Inhale, stretch it long behind you. Knee to nose. Step your left foot between your hands. Extended side angle pose. Left hand to the earth or left elbow to your left knee. Right arm past your ear. Soft jaw and neck here. Exalted triangle is the next shape. When you're ready, you'll lift to standing straight in your left leg. Lift your left arm. And then reach out long. Take your time for triangle pose. Any exploration with that top arm that feels good. Maybe some big circles to breathe into your side body. Length through the left side body as you bend your left knee and step to half moon. Feel your left shoulder in relationship with your right hip. Yeah, and your right fingertips in relationship with your left toes. When you feel ready, come down into a crouch, internally rotate, hands together, knees together. Standing splits, hands come down to the earth, right toes below. Big inhale, stretch up through the right toes. Exhale, step your right foot all the way back for a little lunge. Drop your right knee to the earth. Sweep your arms up. Feel your left foot ground into the earth and pull isometrically back a little bit as your right knee draws really gently forward. You could stay lifted in this. You could cactus your elbows or half camel. Right arm swings back for your right thigh, calf, or heel. And it might feel really not helpful on this side, and so you find something different than you did on the other side. Sometimes the absolute most healing thing we can do in an embodiment practice is to say, no, thank you, right? And find a way to be in our body and really listen. If you reach back, use your inhale to rise back up, stretch your arms up. Exhale, hands come down to the earth, tuck your back toes, bump your back foot in and out to the right slightly. We're setting up for revolve triangle. Lengthen through your spine. Send your left bum cheek back a little bit. And spiral through your belly, through your shoulders, turning your right ear down towards the earth. Inhale where you are. Exhale, left hand comes down to the earth. Lengthen your spine on your inhale. Bend your left knee, warrior three. Slowly lift. Maybe hands to heart. And then hug your right knee in towards your chest. Figure four or tree pose. Right knee opens out. Let your collarbones just really gently melt down towards your heart to make some space through your neck and throat. Take your time, hug your right knee in towards center. Standing splits, hands to the earth, right toes up and back. Step your right foot all the way to the back of the mat. Left foot out to the left a bit for lizard pose. Hands inside your front foot. Back knee could stay lifted or lower down, whatever feels right for you. And eventually we're going to twist. So maybe forearms come down to the earth. Take the time to reach back through your inner right heel. And when you feel ready, you can lift your left arm up. Plank pose. So you'll bring the other hand or forearm down and then take your time to step your left foot back. You're in forearm plank or plank on your hands. And you might play with moving through dolphin pose and back to forearm plank. Or if you're in full plank, you can move to down dog, walking the toes in and then walking the toes back to plank pose. But the toes are what's moving and the forearms or the hands are staying where they are. Really slow and mindful here. If you have some handstand play or some forearm stand play that you want to explore, feel free. At any point when you're ready, you can lower your knees down to the earth and rest in child's pose, or set up for any variation of headstand that feels good. If you're not feeling inverting today, camel pose. Standing on your shins to open through the upper middle back. Slow, deep breaths wherever you are. Just let it be enough what you're offering. And if you want to, if you've been in camel, you can come to child pose. If you've been inverted, you can come to camel pose as a counter stretch. Just moving really freely through heart opening and then a little bit of rounding and turning inward. Deep breath in and a full breath out through your mouth. Make your way back to tabletop. Whenever it feels like time, we'll set up to thread the needle. So wiggle your hips a little side to side, find some length in the tailbone. Lift your left arm when you're ready, and then thread it back behind the right wrist. And then you can explore, walk the right hand forward, walk the right toes back. You can sway your hips all the way over to the left. And then gate pose is the next shape. So when you're ready, your right hand will come in front of your nose. Unfurl your left arm, swing your right shin back behind you, and step your left foot back on the mat. Long through your side body. Shift your weight a little bit forward so you're coming to a half moon variation, but you're standing on your right shin and right hand. And maybe bend your left knee, reach back for your left foot. Chapasana variation on the floor. Good, release that, stretch it out. Left hand and left foot come to the earth. Pick your right knee up. You're in high plank, lift the right shin. Three-legged dog, right leg up and back, shake it out. Bend your knees, stack your hips. Flip your dog if that feels good. The foot takes you over. You can drop your tush to reset. And then unfurl here, right arm up and back. Unflip when you're ready. Right leg up and back into the sky. Warrior one, right foot forward. Take your time to lift up. Warrior two, open out to the side. Exalted warrior, lift up and back. Half moon onto your right foot. Chapasana standing if you like, same thing as on the earth, except not really same at all, right? Because you're balancing in a totally different way, pressing down through the right big toe. The next shape is dancer's pose. So you could keep the bind and internally rotate to stand, or just let it go. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. Perfect, yeah. And then left foot comes behind you, right arm up. And slowly, you let the heart yield forward and you press back through your left foot like a bow here as a counter stretch to support your heart reaching forward. Good. Rise slowly up, release the foot, shake it out. Top of the mat when you're ready, mountain pose. Just take a moment to connect back to that space of curiosity. What parts of your body feel open? And when you're ready, inhale, reach up, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step your right foot back, lengthen your spine. Exhale, left foot back, high plank. Deep breath in. Chaturanga or hold here. Cobra or upward facing dog. And stretch it back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Exhale out through your mouth. Lift your heels, bend your knees, come back down to tabletop position. Good, so you're on hands and knees here, setting up for thread the needle. Lift your right arm this time, inhale, and thread it back behind your left wrist. What changes when you orient to this as play, right? And not as austere practice. We could be practicing and playing at the same time without it being overly serious or overly expectant. What comes through you when it feels like play? When you're ready, your left hand will come in front of your nose for support. Inhale to sweep your right arm up, swing your left shin back behind you, and step your right foot back. Gate pose. Left hip is stacked over the left knee. You can shift your weight a little forward into your left hand. Lift your right leg up. Stay with this or bend your top leg. Reach back for a Chapasana variation on the earth. Good. Release that top foot. Stretch it out. And then right hand and right foot come down to the earth. You're turning back to the mat. Pick your left knee up. Squeeze it in towards your chest. Sweep your left leg up and back. Bend your knees, stack your hips. You could stay as you are, or foot takes you all the way over into a, into a heart opener, or just smush your favorite cat. And the heels are grounding and pulling isometrically back as the knees reach out. You're always hugging in and expanding out at the same time. Three-legged dog, unflip when you're ready. Left leg up and back. Left foot forward. Stay low. Track your gaze forward. Warrior one. Inhale to rise. Good. On your next exhale, warrior two. Exalted warrior, reach up and back, stretch through your rib cage. Half moon when you're ready. It comes from the earth. Press down and then let it unfold. Maybe Chapasana here, if it feels supported by your breath. Good. Now, options are to hug the knee in and come to standing, or internally rotate the leg, pull your outer left hip back, and come all the way up. If you let it go, great. You have a chance to reset. Right heel to your right bum cheek, left arm up. Yeah. And what's the relationship between the front of your heart and the top of your right foot? Good, y'all. Let it be filled with breath. Release it when you're ready. Shake it out. Top of the mat. Hook your thumbs. Spread your fingers wide. Inhale, reach up, arch up. Exhale, fold. Interlace fingers behind you. Lift your hands up and over your head. Release your hands down by your sides. Inhale, step your left foot back. Exhale, right foot back. Inhale, lengthen. Chaturanga or hold. Cobra, upward facing dog, or you're holding here. And then we'll meet back in downward facing. Walk the inner edges of your feet together. Come forward to high plank. Heels to the left for side plank. Float your right foot up. Bend your right knee. Squeeze it in towards your nose. Good. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Drop your left knee. Half splits. And it might feel good to bend and straighten a couple of times with that front leg. You could stay here. You could sit all the way back on top of your left heel and fold over your right leg. Yeah, it might be nice to have a block underneath your hands. So that can be like a kind of half Virasana sit and a half splits, or extending the legs out. Yeah. feeling into what happens in the bowl of the pelvis when the inner thighs move away from each other. And it's always this like interesting play, right? Because wherever you land, you have absolute autonomy to change it and to adjust. And also, wherever you land, there you are. Like, we can adjust, and that is so important to listen to the messages of the body. And sometimes I'll find myself in practice constantly adjusting and never quite finding that thing. So when that happens, I think it's an invitation to notice, is it that I haven't found the right shape, or is it that it's hard to rest? And I feel like if I just keep doing something, that will make that process easier. Right? So learning the subtle cues of the body help us to know the difference between this is actually just a moment of stilling my mind and letting where I've landed be okay, versus like, oh, nope, getting a signal, time to change gears, right? Time to adjust the shape to better serve me here. Take your time here. Personally, my left foot has now gone numb, so that tells me that it's time to release. But if you're still getting into something good, by all means, eventually you're going to come forward again, rebend your right knee. Good. Yeah, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, stretch long for pyramid pose. A long pyramid again, and just feeling into the difference from the start of practice to what your breath is like at this point. When you're ready, revolved half moon, slow as you can to step forward. I like to have a support, a water bottle or something under my left shoulder for my left hand, and the right arm and the left leg lift. If it feels right to you, you can bend both knees, reach back, right hand to your left foot. You got to swing that left shin across the body so it's back on your left side, and then kick back. Good. Chair pose. All the way up to standing, hands to heart. Big breath in and big sigh out. Walk your feet out nice and wide, toes out, heels in. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up, reach tall. And exhale, hands come through the midline to come down into yogic squat. Your time, your body. Crow pose, a twist. Stretching the arms up towards the sky. Whatever calls to you here. When you're ready, we're going to meet in down dog. So you could come to forward fold, spin your toes forward. Take a halfway lift, deep breath. And then step back, maybe vinyasa through, or maybe stepping back directly to downward facing dog. Walk the inner edges of your feet together at the back of the mat. Come forward to high plank, heels to the right for side plank. Lift your left foot up, bend your left knee, squeeze it in towards your nose. And then step your left foot forward, drop your right knee down, half splits, shift your way back. Again, you could stay with this. You could sit all the way back onto your right heel. You could sit inside the right heel or put a cushion under your tush here for a little support so there's no strain on the knee. And just really gently, hands frame either side of the front leg, open through your collarbones and fold forward. If folding forward isn't right for your back, another option is to twist towards and away from the front leg. Take as much time as you need here. And whenever you feel ready, you can scoop your back heel in or come forward into your front foot, depending on which way you move. And tuck your back toes to lift up for pyramid pose. Lengthen your spine out. Shift your weight forward, bend your left knee, and launch to revolved half moon. Play with the sides of your belly, lifting skyward a little bit to open the expanse of the front of your belly. Maybe you want to bend both knees. Maybe you want to reach back to clasp left hand to right foot. Chair pose when you're ready. Inhale where you're at. And exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Take a big inhale. A little bit deeper on your exhale. One more time, big breath in. This time we'll land all the way on the earth. Stretch the legs out in front of you. Boat pose, take a big breath in. Slow lower all the way down onto your back. When you make it back, bring the soles of your feet together above you. Interlace your fingers around the outer blades of the feet. And just gently squeeze your toes in towards your chest or chin. Lengthen your tailbone out away from the front. And then you can decide, you might like to come to wheel pose or bridge pose. You might like to come to figure four on your back or reclined Gomukhasana. So just take a moment to check in with your system and see what your body is asking for here. A hip opener or a heart opener. This can also be a really nice time to reach for a pillow or a block and put it underneath your low back for supported bridge. Take the time that you need in these shapes. If you're in wheel coming down to rest, and then you maybe reset for another variation. If you're taking a reclined hip opener, shake it out through your legs, and you can switch to the other side. Releasing down all the way onto your back for a moment. You can windshield wiper your knees side to side. And check in with your system to see what's calling to you. Shoulder stand series, shoulder stand, plow and fish, or reclined Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Or maybe even supported fish with a block behind your heart. This is the part of the creativity too, right? Is sort of like letting shapes emerge from the inside out. So taking the next few minutes to move in the way that your body calls you to. The more you can listen to the subtle cues of what your body is asking, the more it gets to trust that you're listening. And the deeper your relationship and more transparent it starts to become. When we feel heard, we are much more willing to share. And if you're in a shape that's held for a while, you might just make a really subtle adjustment here, maybe a turn of the head or a little arching and rounding of your spine. And then taking the time to set up a little nest of resting here at the end of the movement practice. So you might like to put a bolster or a pillow underneath your thighs. You might like to lay a blanket over your belly and chest. If you have an eye pillow or a towel, you could lay it over your eyes to let yourself soften inward. If it feels right, you could come back to that scent that you started the practice with and give yourself another moment to take it in. Any supports, any ways of helping yourself to feel really nestled in and held here? Take your time to find your way in. Notice if there are any parts of you that are a little bit braced here, that haven't been practicing resting today, that you can recruit and encourage to land and rest on the earth. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hare Bo. 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 Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hare Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hare Mo. Take all the time that you need to come back into your body, to come back into your breath. Maybe stretching long through your spine and reaching long through your fingertips and toes. And then squeeze your knees in towards your chest and hug in to roll over onto one side. Slowly, in your own time, finding your way up to a seat, or if it feels right to stay resting, by all means, you can rest right where you are. And I'll read to you the final little card that we have for our practice today. It's one that I don't think we've gotten before. It's the KISS card. And there's a moon, and there's two hands holding one another in the shadow of the moon. So I'll read to you a little bit about it. The kiss represents the touch and the chemistry. Before a first kiss, the air is electrified. Each breath is alive with possibility and magic. What will their lips be like? Their tongue? Do they want me in return? The archetypal energy of the kiss is a heightened sensation of merging, of letting in what was moments ago separate. It is risky but beautiful business. These moments forever change us as we move past the solitary self toward union and acceptance. This card suggests true intimacy is around the corner, which requires bravery and surrender. When the kiss takes non-human form, which it often may, it can be experienced as touching the sacred, hearing a whisper of guidance, or being graced by a divine being. You will recognize the presence of the kiss by chills and an awakening of the heart. So when this energy is dark in us, when it's out of balance, then we experience neediness and pressure and dominance. But when it's light, we're able to experience sensual expressiveness, merging and inviting ourselves in. Yeah. And there's an invitation here that says intimacy is multi-layered and requires our reflection. Revisit what you consider to be sensual, acceptable, taboo, shameful, and question them all. So I think this is such a beautiful invitation into considering what it is that we are in relationship in. Two, right? What it is that we are in relationship to and how it is that we are relating. So often we are in relationships, but there is more room to be curious in them, right? There is more room to be exploring in them. What are our patterns? How do we respond to the people that we love? And is that based on a curiosity or is that based on preconceived expectation? The kiss is the energy of what is creative and spontaneous, right? You can't really plan a kiss. I guess you could, but I don't know that it would be very good, right? It's the energy of spontaneity and the capacity of what happens when we engage with our creative and sensual self, which is really, as Esther Perel says, the antidote of death is to be with the erotic. It is to be with the aliveness within and how that is awoken when we are in relationship with anything, right? A person, but also an idea, a way of being, a practice, a home, an earth. So this is an invitation to get curious about how you are showing up in relationship and whether there is more texture, more sensual capacity that is available in this moment for you. If you tap into these sort of um, senses of the fingertips, senses of the lips, senses of the crown of the head, senses of the tailbone, the ways that we find our edges and our external parameters, because that is actually the space where we encounter another. So to wake up to that edge is to wake up to the way that we are meeting, right? So it's such an honor to be with you. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your willingness.